Hey everyone, it's Andrew here at Vespa Portland. In this video, we're going to charge up what is called an AGM or absorbent glass mat battery for your scooter. If you need a new battery for your scooter, we can send you one off our website and ship it to you for free, and you can charge it at home yourself. The only places we can't ship to are California, Alaska, and Hawaii. A link to our selection of batteries will be in the description below, and we have various combinations available. You can purchase a battery on its own if you have a battery tender at your house already. You can purchase a kit that has the battery and the battery tender, or if you just want to get a battery that's ready to go, we have what's called FA batteries, which means factory activated. Those come fully charged from the factory, although they do recommend a refresher charge before you use them, so the battery tender still might be a good idea to pick up. And as I said before, we will ship any combination of them to you for free. And if you decide to get a battery from us, I want to say a sincere thank you for supporting a small business and not Amazon. So with that, let's get to the process of charging an AGM battery for your scooter, whatever that may be: Vespa, Genuine, Piaggio, Kymco, Honda, whatever. Okay, to get started, we're gonna need three things. A battery, obviously. Second, a battery tender to charge the battery. And then ideally, a rubber mallet, but if you don't have one of these, your hand and fingers will suffice. This battery contains acid, and acid is a corrosive, so by all means, if you want to wear any kind of personal protective equipment like gloves or eye protection, go ahead. I'm going to be unboxing what is called a YASA. This is probably the highest quality battery you can get on the market. It's what most manufacturers ship with their motorcycles and scooters, and it's also what all of us here at the shop use in our own personal motorcycles and scooters. So inside the battery here, you're going to have battery hardware, 2 nuts, 2 bolts, the battery itself in here. Also inside, you're going to have the battery acid container, which in YASA's case is in a little box, and there's also plastic wrap around it. I've got a handy razor blade, just gonna go ahead and cut that piece of tape and then open this guy up. You see that there's a black strip of plastic caps on the top, and it's just contained in this plastic so there's no spills or leaks. Just wanna go ahead and get this off of here. Don't use anything sharp unless you're really careful, because you don't wanna puncture this and have the battery acid start flowing everywhere. There are instructions as well, but that's what this video is for. Get the black plastic caps off of the container. Go easy. Underneath these caps are these little foil pieces, and the foil is all that's holding the battery acid inside the container, so you don't want to puncture these or accidentally peel them off. Once the strip of caps is off, do not throw this away. We need it later. Just set it aside. And then put this guy aside. Next up, you want to take the battery. There's a protective foil seal on here. You just want to make sure that you pull that off entirely and remove every little bit of it. On the battery here, you can see the filler ports. There are 6 of them across the top, and they're angled up on the right side to have a sharp edge so that can puncture the foil on the acid container. Before you go any further, you want to make sure that your battery is on a level surface, and then you just go ahead and take the container here, and you're going to line up the foil with the filler ports, and then just kind of push down on them evenly and strongly, and that'll get the flow of battery acid going. And you should see air bubbles coming up from all 6 ports. If you don't see air bubbles in some part of the container, just kind of tap on it a little bit, and that will coax the liquid out of there. Sometimes the way the filler port punctures the foil can cover the port, and all you have to do is kind of move it around and it'll get going. Never remove the container from the battery once it's flowing. That'll of course make acid go everywhere. And never poke holes in the top to try to speed up the process, because you'll just make the battery overflow. The air won't be able to escape the battery fast enough for the liquid to come in, and it'll go everywhere. From this point, you just want to let the whole thing sit for about 30 minutes. That gives it plenty of time for the acid to absorb into all the internal materials. When at least 30 minutes has elapsed, you can tap the container a few times to get any remaining acid out of it, and then just gently pull the container out of the battery and throw it away. Be careful not to get any of the remaining acid on your hands or clothes. If you do get it on your skin, just go thoroughly wash that area with soap and water. Now we can grab that little black plastic strip of caps and just kind of lay them into the ports like so, and you can kind of get them started with your fingers evenly. If you have the mallet, this is the time where you can use it. Otherwise, you can just work this in with your fingers. From here, your battery is ready to be charged up. From this point forward, keep the battery upright. Don't lay it on its side, don't flip it over, etc. Yes, it's capped, but it's better to not give liquid an opportunity to find an exit. Okay, next up, we're gonna get into the battery tender. This is a really good insurance policy for your battery, especially for people who are fair weather riders, people who don't want to have anything to do with riding in the cold or the rain. This will keep your battery healthy while you are not riding. Inside the box here, we have the battery tender itself, and it is attached to a long cable. And on this side, we've got alligator clamps, positive, negative, red, black, and the other end to plug into the tender. So the first thing you want to do, I'm not going to take this all apart because I'm not going to own this thing, is just get the end caps opened up. You got a cap on here, pop that off, and a cap on this side. Of course, they're going to be opposite of each other. Plug that right in, and now it's one unit. Plug one end into an outlet, take the other, put the red side on the positive. You have this plus sign on the battery right here. Red side on the positive. Other side's going to be the negative, the black. And then you can see on here that it's now charging. That yellow light is telling you it's charging, and the green light over here is on the lead acid side. There's also a spot for lithium battery. In case you have one of those, you would just press this guy in to select that mode. But for us, lead acid's exactly what we need, and this is going to charge. Then you just want to let this thing sit here and charge. It's going to take a few hours, so just, set it and forget it. Make sure it's not going to get bumped over or anything like that. And in a few hours, it'll be done. You'll know it's done when that light I talked about turns green. At that point, you'll be good to remove the two clamps from the battery and go ahead and install it in the scooter. One thing to know about these is they're considered maintenance-free batteries, so they are one-time use. You put that acid in there, you close the seal with all the caps, and you charge this thing up, and that is the last time you'll ever do anything to this battery. When it dies someday, you're just going to go ahead and get rid of this, dispose of it properly, and get another one. So for the rest of the video, I'll just explain why YASA is probably your best choice for a scooter battery, and then a little bit more about the battery tender in case you're not familiar with those. Starting with the battery, a YASA, like I said before, is probably the highest quality lead acid, AGM technically, battery that you can get on the market for your scooter. They're going to be a bit more expensive than the kind of cheapo Amazon special, but the lifespan is much longer than you're going to get with some kind of cheap battery, especially if you treat it right. Now, what does treating it right mean? It means riding. Too many people let their scooters sit for far too long and then are surprised when the battery has died. You can see the size of this battery. It is nowhere near the size of a car battery. It's like maybe a quarter of the size at best. You need to be riding your scooter regularly or you're risking your battery dying. Riding regularly, I would say, is no less than maybe twice weekly, 3 to 5 mile ride each time. When you do start up your scooter, it takes a lot of cranking amps out of it, and then they take a little while to recharge with riding. So if you're just turning it on, riding 20 feet and turning it off, it's not really enough time to build the battery back up to where it was. When you're not riding, ideally you're keeping your bike in a garage if you have one, or any way you can keep it out of kind of large temperature swings, which will affect the lifespan of the battery. And if you're not going to ride for weeks or months, like a fair weather rider, you don't want to ride in the winter, whatever that is, a battery tender can keep your battery happy and healthy while you're not riding. What a battery tender does is simulate riding conditions when the scooter is parked. It will put a load on the battery as if you started a scooter up, and then it will trickle charge it up slowly as if you were riding a few miles. So once it starts raining, gets too cold for your liking, you can just open up the battery cover on your scooter, put these clamps on there, and then plug it in the wall and set it and forget it until you want to ride again. And when you come back to your battery in the spring, your battery will be alive. It won't be dead. A battery like this YASA 7LBS at the time of filming is around 85 bucks. A battery tender is around 50. So buy this combination one time and have this for like up to 5 years if it's in a garage. Pretty good insurance policy to save you money from having annually dead batteries. If you ride regularly, but you are unfortunately having to store your scooter outside, so it is subject to those temperature swings, and you're not able to put it on a battery tender, then you're probably at best going to get about 3 years of lifespan out of this battery, and of course much less out of the cheaper batteries. That all said, these are guidelines, not guarantees. You can order a battery like this from our website. Links will be in the description below. And we have a few options. Of course, you can do this style where you charge it up yourself. There are also batteries that are called FA batteries, factory activated. And those batteries come charged enough to just pop into the bike and start riding. Although, if you really read the instructions, it says they recommend a refresher charge before first use, which is something you can give with the battery tender that we showed here. If you already have a battery tender and you just need the battery to charge that thing up, you can just get the battery alone. If you need a tender and the battery, we can send you one of those. If you want the factory activated battery and a tender, we can send that, etc., etc. So just poke through the link in the description and you'll find that. And like I said before, shipping is free. We're gonna eat this one just so you can get back on the road. Links to other videos we've already made and will continue to make will be in the description that show how to install a battery in specific types of scooters, which, you know, maybe a certain Vespa, certain Piaggio, certain Genuine, etc. Hope this was helpful and get you back on the road soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.